Let's welcome Casey.
Thank you, everyone, for having me here. My name is Casey Miller, and I run a leadership and organizational design consultancy, and that probably doesn't mean anything to you. So I'll ask you this. How many people have had a bad boss in their life? How many people have had really crappy jobs that they just really don't like? Yeah, so collectively it's about 2/3 of people have raised their hand in here. And that's about the average for Canada and the United States. 60% of people don't really like going to work. They don't like their jobs. Roger, I'll have you go there. They're disengaged from work, and I think that's really terrible. I think it's terrible for people because we spend a lot of time at work, and if we're checked out and disengaged from work, that has an effect on who we are and our spirits. And there's estimates out there that say roughly a third of an employee's wage is wasted if they're disengaged. And so you do the math. If you're an employee that's making $50,000, it's $20,000 that's out from the employer. And if you have 10 employees, that's a lot of money, right, that people are wasting from disengagement. And so what we do from a leadership and organizational design consultancy is teach employers, how do you motivate your employees? Most people would say, you motivate people by paying them more money. And that's not true. The research is conclusive out there that you can't pay an extra dollar to a person to make them work any harder after they're making what is considered a fair wage for themselves, right? So if you can't pay them any more money to work any harder or be more connected, what can you do? These are the skills that we teach employers to create an environment where people are inspired to come to work. So the first thing that we teach organizations to do is become very clear on why they do what they do. Most organizations can tell you what they do, they can tell you how they do it, but they can't tell you why they do it. And that connected sense of purpose is fundamental for employees to know what their skill set is being lent to. And more importantly, continually building their skills and lending that towards a greater cause. So we work a lot of time with organizations on that piece. Second piece that we work on, and this is really imperative right now. I was just at a conference with the Board of Trade. Edelman, which is a big PR company, did their annual report on trust. Trust is eroding amongst the general public and institutions. People are not confident anymore in the information that we're hearing, and that's really fundamental with employees. Employees increasingly do not trust the organizations that they work for. So one of the things that we work with managers is creating environments of trust. How that manifests itself is, do your employees have enough autonomy and self-determinism to actually execute their job? Maybe saying it a different way, are your employees treated like adults? Can they make decisions and are treated like adults, right? We all laugh, but that's not the case in a lot of organizations, right? The third thing that we work on is this piece called relatedness. And this is the human interaction piece that's so fundamental to making people naturally or intrinsically inspired to come to work. Do you have a high and developed EQ? Do you know how you respond to certain situations and other people in your organization respond to other situations? Are you adept at navigating that, right? Do you have transparent communication? Do you have systems in place that reinforce that transparency? And perhaps most importantly in Canada, do you have the ability to engage in healthy conflict? Most Canadians avoid having any difficult conversations, and as a result, in organizations, guess what happens? Creativity is stifled. People don't feel confident in raising their voice and coming up with new ideas, and as a result, they become disengaged. This is the work that we do. Collectively, if you put purpose together, if you put trust and autonomy together, and if you put the skills of EQ, emotional intelligence, conflict, communication, you mix those all together, you become very good at it, you end up with employees that love their jobs, that are connected, and you have companies that end up being thriving organizations. So these are the types of skills that I work with in organizations and across the board, both with executives and their teams, on developing skill sets that I think all of us should just have to be better people. So if you have any questions about how we do our work, I'd be happy to share with you. If not, there are lots of muffins. Thank you.